Thinking of selling? In my experience, sellers run the gamut between those who feel like they have to completely renovate their home to put it on the market to those who are just happy for me to come in without doing anything and take a photo. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. So if you are thinking of selling, the most important step is to reach out to a local real estate professional who understands your market, because they will be able to give you insights into what's happening in real time, what the buyers are looking for. An upgrade may or may not be necessary, and that's where you start. But be prepared. While the agent will have plenty of heavy lifting to get your place sold, even if it's beautiful, there's a lot of work to do. You're going to need to do some work as well. But an experienced agent who knows your market will be able to give you a concise and accurate checklist. When you're thinking of selling, you need to understand what your home looks like through a buyer's lens, which is something I help all my sellers do. Because how we live day in and day out and what a buyer wants to see when they walk through the front door are sometimes quite different. So if you're thinking of selling, it's not a bad idea to start going through your property and take a look at items that you haven't used in the past year and either pack them up or donate them. Not only will your home become clutter-free and you'll feel lighter and happier, but you increase your chances of selling faster at a higher price. Here's a seller tip you don't hear often. Check your paperwork, especially if you are in a townhouse, but not solely for townhouses, because if you have done any work and your contractor pulled a permit, if they haven't closed out that permit, you are going to have issues when you get to the closing table. It is rare, but I have seen deals derailed because this work wasn't done in advance, so check today. When you're selling, there's one item which is the kiss of death, and that is leaking. Now, I had a seller who had a leak in their bathtubs 12 years before putting the property on the market, but he never repainted the ceiling. And buyers would come through and they didn't say anything, but then they didn't put in an offer. And finally, someone spoke up because these were gorgeous 12-foot ceilings. So I didn't notice, he didn't notice he had been living with it. But once we identified the problem and we painted it, we got a great offer. Putting the finishing touches on your home before the photographs are taken is critical. Now, for some people, it's just about a little tweak, putting some private things away, putting out a plant, moving a picture here or there. But if you have a substantial luxury property, chances are good you might want to stage that property. It can be a big investment, anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000, depending on the size of your property and how much you do want to stage. But it can make a very big difference in not only the time in which your property sells, but also the final sale price. How we live and what we want from our homes is always changing, which is why you have to ask yourself if your property has aged out. Particularly in the past couple of years, two things which I find that buyers are really looking for is a space for a home office and a washer dryer. Now, you might not have a home office. Can you look around your home and see, is there a nook that you can clear out? Is there a place a small desk fits that would make sense? As for the washer dryer, maybe you don't have one, never thought you needed one. Does your building allow a washer dryer hookup? Just knowing that in advance and being able to advertise your property as having the possibility of a washer dryer makes a big difference. Sellers are always asking me about their floors. That's something they notice and they're worried that maybe it will hinder a potential sale or bring the price down. So I had this recently with a young couple, and they had moved out for the most part, but they were still using the apartment from time to time. So I told them, no, let's just hold off. And so what we did instead is offer to do the floors in advance for the buyer in the color and finish of their choice. And our buyers were very grateful that this was done before they moved in. We recently closed, both sides are happy. Selling a townhouse? Do yourself a favor and spend the approximately $1,000 to $1,200 is going to cost for an inspection before you list your property, so you understand what issues are potentially hiding behind the walls that you're not even aware of. Now, I had a sale a few years ago where there was a crack in the foundation in one of the beams. You couldn't see it. There was no evidence that the house was sloping, but as a result, the seller, who was under pressure to sell, had to take $100,000 off the purchase price. Now, if that person had known in advance, they could have remedied the situation for far less money.